Terrance! 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 You know what time it is, Terrance. Come on. We're going to cheer you up. Terrance, come on. Come on, Terrance. Uh-oh. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. Peanut butter jelly. 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 I did that pretty good this time, don't you think, Terrance? Terrance, you still going?
Oh, wait, what happened? What happened?
You still going, Terrance? He ain't stopping. We already got people here. Justin's here. Heavy Duty Smokes is here. Where are my people at? I was looking. I'm not seeing that I'm popping up on my own, though, because I always like to double check, make sure I pop up. I don't even see me.
Yeah, I'm good, Amanda. Like, everything is good. I'm telling you, just I'm telling you, Amanda. Like, when aliens show up, Amanda, and they want to blow up this planet, I understand why. These humans are probably like, "What are you guys talking about?" Oh, no, it's just humans being silly. But everything is good.
Look, Terrance, Justin is watching all the way from Ganya. Did I say it right? Ganya? Is that how you say
so.
it? Or Gaia?
Yep.
Gaina. Y'all know I can't. I can't talk. He's got me. He wants me. It's my Bollywood piece. Justin's one of my Bollywoods. Look what he wants me to react to. Justin,
yep.
I can barely say where you're from, Gaia. Gaia. And he wants me to react to, do you see? What? Aja Nachanta. I can't even say it. Aja. It's a Bollywood something. That's all I got to say. But today, we ain't talking about that because this week on Monday, I went and saw Shazam. I saw Shazam. I took my 13-year-old little boy. I took my 10-year-old little girl. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But one of the first things I thought, I was like, I gotta talk to Terrance about this movie because I know he done saw it, right? I know you saw it, Terrance.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it 2 weeks before it came out. Yep.
And I'm telling you, that's one of the first things I thought. I'm like, because I just want to hear his thoughts about it. I want to ask him some questions because I never read those comics, so I didn't know some stuff I was like, what? What's going on with this? What's going on with that? So I didn't know all that.
Right.
And I knew I could ask you. I knew you knew, right? Have you read these comics? Number one, have you read the comics?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I read a lot of Shazam comics, so I understand them very well. So that's why I was like, when I saw the trailers, I'm like, I haven't seen the movie yet, but this looks like a perfect Shazam movie, like in every single detail. I mean, even down to Zachary Levi's face. I'm like, they just like snatched him out the comic books.
Really?
Like everything, and then even the way the world looks. I'm like, they even got the details of the buildings right. I'm like,
really?
This is the small stuff where I was like, that's good.
So this was on point as far as the look of the comic, taking the movie from the look of the comic, it was on point, you're saying?
Yeah, everything. Even like the subtle details of his cape, which is actually a hood too, like, like that one scene where you saw him, he had the hood on when he was talking to his friend, like even that, I'm like, even that is right. So,
hey Perry! Perry's
when you
up.
pay attention to stuff like that, I'm happy because then I know that, it's about the passion.
That is funny to me, you're talking about even his outfit, because that was one thing I had to laugh at. It was just funny to me, his outfit, like a grown man, he was always walking around in his Shazam outfit.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. He's not a man. He's a kid. He looks like a man.
Well, no. Let's start off with this. We already discussed. Hey, Billy. And I didn't say hi to Emily Glover either. Hey, Emily Glover. But I finished this movie, and I was like, it was one of the most enjoyable, just fun little rides of the movie. I loved it.
I gotta say this real quick. You see, I want the humans to know. See, the real Captain Marvel's movie is better than Captain Marvel. Like, yeah, some people probably got their arms crossed, like, what do you mean? I'm like, don't play dumb with me. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
It was. Like, it was not a dull moment in the movie. I was like, Evans is there! Look at Evans dropping his super chat. What'd he say? Just came out of the theater, the movie was at, Evans, really?
Hey, that's okay, like, cause remember I told you before, Amanda, like, when it comes to DC material, I feel like you will normally get the or the bashing, like, it's automatic, so, like, really to, like, a hardcore DC fan like myself, like, we're so used to it that we don't care. Like, we're just like, as long as the movie is on point, like, we don't care if others like it or how much money it makes. We want the good things, but we just want the quality, because that's what it is.
Okay, let me tell you, number one, do you know, if I ask, I bet a lot of people can answer this question. I want to test Terrance's knowledge of me. So this is a test, Terrance. Who's my favorite superhero ever?
Oh, Spider-Man, right?
See, Terrance knows! Terrance, my boy knows me! So, you know, Spider-Man's my favorite superhero, comics, everything, some, like, well, not all the movies, cause that Andy Garfield's, whatever his name is, I hated those. But wait, we're not talking about that, because I'm bringing it back to Shazam, because watching Shazam, it was like this, I had the feel of like when I feel watching Spider-Man. The lightheartedness of it, you know, the fun in it, the jokes.
It depends on which Spider-Man film, because the first, well, technically they're not the first three, because you had the films from the 70s, but the ones that everyone focuses on, which are the Tobey Maguire ones, those were not fun. Those were depressing. I'm like, a real Spider-Man film, like something like Into the Spider-Verse, or Homecoming, and even like the very, very first Amazing Spider-Man, like, Peter's supposed to be fun. Like, he's not supposed to be, like, all mopey and staring at a wall. That's not how he is. So,
but being a Spider-Man fan, I still love those movies, you know? And I did, and even the Andy Garfield's, whatever, I still love those movies. I just didn't like him as Spider-Man, but I still love those movies, you know.
The second one, I feel like they dropped the ball, which is unfortunate. But, like, in terms of, like, there's two different types of humors with those characters. Like, with Spider-Man, his stuff is funny because he's being funny because he's scared all the time. You know, that's a defense mechanism for the character.
Hey, Doughboy!
In Shazam's case, his humor is because he's a kid. You know, like a literal kid, so.
Terrance, Evan said, Terrance, I love the Nolan trilogy, Man of Steel, Wonder Woman. Hell, I even like Batman vs. Superman. In my opinion, the Steam version is 100 times better than the theatrical.
Oh, yeah, you know. I get you on that. You know,
Doughboy says
Warner Brothers, you know, they've been doing their thing for a while with DC content, and I just like how, you know, humans choose to forget, like, how many decades that they've been doing stuff. And then, you know, when Marvel gets out of their over a decade's worth of debt, you know, and they sold their properties off to everybody, you know, they're just like, oh, well, we don't have to remember the competition. I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, the competition was there first. Like, in fact, without the competition,
I'm saying with anything,
you wouldn't even have everything else.
I feel lately DC is bringing it. I loved Shazam. I did. I loved it. And after watching this week the Joker trailer, I was like, forget about it. DC is bringing it.
That was hey, Amanda, I'm gonna tell you this. Like, at 8 a.m. on Tuesday, I was talking to my friend, and I told him, like, because the thing is, that trailer where it had Thanos, I actually watched that later, because the one I saw was the whole, like, you know, but not us, and it showed like a bunch of different clips. And then that one said to get the tickets. So at that point I was like, all right, grab the tickets. Yeah. And then I was with another friend hanging out, and he was like, did you see the trailer? And I said, yes. And I thought he was talking about another one, but like maybe an hour after I watched that one, and we were getting our tickets, they had dropped the main one.
Okay. Yeah.
The biggest one.
That had Tony Stark all over it.
Yeah, so when I watched the Thanos one, it was like get tickets now. I was like, oh well, we already got that covered because I thought I thought I saw what I needed to see, and then but anyway, the point is we got the tickets, and I was like, cool, this is better than the other one. I wish they would have showed us some action, but the best thing about that was Thanos. I was like, cool. And then that one moment where you see Tony and Cap, they shake the hands. They're like, yeah, I trust you, and it was like, man, we haven't seen that since Civil War. Like that just number one. Like, I just got really excited, and then that was just an orgasmic moment. And then when Thanos showed up, I just pleasure, just immediate pleasure. I was like, good, Thanos, I hope you beat the shit out of him again and use that badass weapon that you have. But then something else happened. Then the Joker trailer happened, and I was like, I saw like, I don't know how many Marvel trailers within a week. I'm like, that craps over every single thing they put out. I'm like, when your trailer is a masterpiece, there's nothing else that can compare to it. It just can't.
I love it.
I'm like, I like how you see characters standing around, sitting around, but not us. Thanos shows up talking trash, but I'm like, you literally have a performance in a trailer where you're like, even if this movie is bad, which I doubt, like, you're still going to end up with, I think, Joaquin Phoenix, winning an Oscar. I'm just like, you can't really say that about the other ones. You just can't. So, to me, there's different levels of good and greatness, and I feel like the Joker one is unique in that sense. Because someone might argue, like, man, but Endgame is going to make more money. I'm like, well, I can guarantee you that because, number one,
and Endgame's going to be great, too. Like, it's going to be a great movie, but it's, like, expected, all these Avengers, you have a certain standard with that, right? You have a certain
standard. Yeah, there's a lot of characters. But see, on trending, though, like 1 hour after the Joker trailer came out, it completely knocked down the Avengers trailer. In 1 hour, Amanda, I was like,
listen, I know, I'm told you. I was up at Pixar. I'm at Disney Pixar when that trailer dropped, was going the Toy Story 4 press junket. The cousins, basically, to Marvel, or brothers, sisters, whatever, siblings, and all I can talk about is the new Joker trailer. That's all I can talk about the whole time there, up in the competition backyard, and I was just like, for real, that Joker trailer, I was the same.
Because Avengers is at like 19 million, and then now Joker's at like 22 million, but I'm just like, the fact that
it's also the third trailer for Endgame, which they always kind of go like the first. It ain't gonna hit that first Endgame trailer like number or anything. But I'm just saying, though,
it's still Marvel at the end of the day, and you have a bunch of characters versus one, and then you talk about like I said, the automatic bashing of DC. There's always those skeptics like, But I'm telling you, Marvel could be like, man, Toothbrush coming out August 2nd, and then people are going to think I mean, you already know what's up. Like, come on.
This is all I'm saying, Terrance. Just seeing that is Monday night, I went and saw Shazam. Then that Joker trailer dropped, and that's what I was saying. I was like, DC is bringing it. But I want to get back. Let's get back to Shazam, because Evans' first number one dropped a spoiler. Evans.
You gotta stop doing that, Evans.
Evans dropped a spoiler, and then I showed it up there. But he dropped the spoiler about the cameo at the end. Remember the cameo?
No, you can't be doing that. Don't do that. Like Shazam, like.
Well, he said, I liked how they foreshadowed. He said, I like how they foreshadowed Black Adam, but that spoiler cameo at the end, which got me thinking after watching this movie. And it really got me thinking with that cameo drop is I'm sitting there wondering, loved the Shazam movie. I did. I loved it. It was fun. I laughed. My 13-year-old was right next to me. He probably made it better because he was cracking up just the whole time. I'm like looking over and I'm like, I never see you laughing like this in a movie. But he was just loving it. My daughter loved it. But it got me thinking, like, how is this going to fit into the DC universe? And is it? Like, I can't see Shazam going up to Justice League, with Superman and Batman.
But that's a common question, though. But, I mean, that's a common question. But, I mean, to me, it's not hard to understand because I'm like, in the comics and in the cartoons, like, he's part of the team. Like everyone on the Justice League is not Batman. They're not all serious.
Yeah.
So, like,
Flash, I can see him and Flash being buddies.
Right. Like, Flash is funny, too. Well, it depends on which one. Like, some of them are more or less funny. It just depends on the speedster. But, like, you have different personalities within the Justice League. So, when he's going to get recruited by them eventually. So, all I needed to know from the beginning was, like, is this part of the DCEU? When they said yes, I'm like, okay, well, then that means that depending on what they do, it should be Wonder Woman or Flash or Superman that trains him to teach him how to be a proper hero. Because he has everything inside of him already. He just needs a little push, so he'll be fine.
Evans removed it, he said. Because, we can't spoil that cameo. We can't spoil that cameo, because when that cameo hit, I was just like...
And it's not even just only that. There's another like handful of scenes in the movie where I was like, me and my friend, we high-fived, we're like, dang, they did it. And,
Are you talking about one of them being with the siblings? Like, is that one of them?
Yeah, there was that. There was something.
Because when that hit, that's when I was up in my seat. I was like, when that hit, I was like, oh, yes!
Because they were supposed to do that scene. And I was just like, I wonder if they're going to do it. They'll probably save it for like a sequel or something. But when it happened, I was man, they did it.
If I could have any complaint about it, I didn't. The villain was cool, but I was like, I didn't get it. Like the villain, I'm just like, now what? In there,
this. Oh no, Dr. Savannah was perfect.
He was good. He was good, but I didn't understand this whole. That's what it is. Like all these deadly sins and all those creatures and monsters and stuff. I didn't understand that. Is that from the comics?
Oh, well, yeah. See, like whenever you have the 7 elders, which are the individuals that each one will make sure that a certain number of deadly sins will not get out and destroy the world, and that's why they're there. So eventually they do fade away, and there has to be someone to protect all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But in the case of Dr. Savannah, like in the comics, he's just like a really, really intelligent individual. He's like a super genius, and usually he's just a scientist, which you see in the movie when he's investigating like how to get back to where the wizard had summoned him because he wants powers for himself. That's where all the science came into play. And usually he doesn't have powers, but he's known to either get them or create them himself. And that was all mixed in the same movie. Mm-hmm. And when he, comes across the wizard again, and the wizard's like, oh, I remember you. You shouldn't be here. Your heart is unpure and all that stuff. He's like, okay, well, I'll just do this instead. And then we saw how that turned out. But I'm like, that's cool that they did that, because he's supposed to be a character where even though he's evil, it's like you understand why he decided to go down that path.
Oh, you do.
I'm like, they showed what was happening with his family.
I like the backstory, how they they did on him, just a little back, like, it makes you, because I didn't know much about the character, but it makes you get in his mind a little better, even the way they did it in the movie, because
he is dark.
Yeah.
It was dark.
It was.
I'm like, the moments with Dr. Savannah were actually pretty dark. Like
when he was a kid, and that happened, and he comes back, and the dad's there yelling at him, and then boom! That car, I was just like, what?
Yeah, exactly. See, humans, a lot of humans, when they watch it, they're not going to expect those dark elements, because they're just like, it's just going to be funny. But I'm like, Shazam, he has some really dark stuff in his lore. Like, whenever you deal with, like, Greek gods and Egyptian gods and magic and the 7 deadly sins, like, you're going to get some heavy stuff. And it's going to hit you by surprise, especially if you don't know. So with me, I went in there like, okay, like, it would be nice if they show certain things, but if they don't, you can always do it in a sequel. But in the way that they did it in the film, it was like, beat for beat, like, oh, this is flowing smoothly. Mm-hmm. I can see you expanding upon this kind of stuff in a sequel.
Evans had a question. Let's see if Terrance can clear this. I've always had the question in my mind, Shazam gets his powers from Greek gods. Why Black Adam gets his powers from Egyptian gods and not the same as Shazam?
I can easily explain.
We got answers for you, Evan. We got answers.
Like what happened was in ancient Egypt, you had I have a hard time pronouncing like Black Adam's real name, but anyway, like before he was Black Adam, he was like a hero of the people, and you know the wizard was around at that time, and he actually wanted to give his powers to the guy who would turn out to be Black Adam, but it turned out that a deal was made, and he got the powers of like 6 Egyptian gods instead of getting the powers from the wizard. So like when he would say Shazam, his powers would come from completely like a different power source. And the wizard was kind of bummed out about that because his selection process is very limited. Like, you know, you can have like 7.8 billion souls and only like all of 1 or 2 will actually qualify to get the powers. So the wizard was like, oh man, so he was kind of having to wait until maybe another person would be worthy, which is extremely unlikely. But see, Black Adam, over the course of his, you know, powers, he was really corrupt, and he did a lot of questionable things, like his family ended up getting killed, and then the person that did it, and he killed that person brutally, which deservingly so. I mean, like somebody killed your family, and you're really about that, like you're a real person, you're gonna want to kill that person. You're not gonna say it and then not do anything, especially when you have that much power. So the wizard is like, first, I'm gonna strip you of your powers, and I'm gonna lock you away, and then when he dies, that's how he got the name Black Adam. So he is the complete opposite of Shazam in that way.
Yeah. I'm going through some old comments too, because we miss people. Doughboy's up in here. Doughboy, talking about the Joker trailer, said he ain't cried like that since Jack died on Titanic. Doughboy cried.
I cried in Titanic because that movie was so damn boring.
I like Titanic. What did Evan say? Evan said so funny. He said he cried when Snake killed Spock.
Okay, see, that makes more sense. I'm like, you shouldn't be crying in Titanic unless you were crying because you wanted a better movie, because that movie was so mediocre. I just like, what the heck? But
what else we missed?
You know,
Emily Glover's up in here.
Better understanding of Black Adam now. Like by the time they get to, you know, like his lore is really good. Like I told you with the whole Egyptian gods, and I think that you'll like when they show it.
Oh, wait, you think so? Look what... So, Evan, do you think the CGI in this movie is worse than Justice League?
Okay. My thing is, like, when I hear comments like that, I'm like, okay, so what about the CGI in Infinity War when Bruce Banner was in the Hulkbuster? And it looked fake. Like, how come no one points out when, like, Marvel has, like, something that's not perfect, but with DC, they're trying to find something that's wrong? That's not even really
Evans will point out both. I know Evans, because even when I came back from Marvel and Captain Marvel, and I was just like, Evans was with me. Evans will point out both. Evans one of those will point out both. So
I have to say something, because I feel like when you, like, for the case of Shazam, you know, to me that's something that you have to try to find. And I feel like if you try to find something, more than likely you will find a problem versus if it's super obvious. That's what I'm getting at.
Oh, Doughboy's saying The Rock should be playing Black Adams. Oh, I don't.
Well, I mean, that was the announcement. I mean, The Rock,
really? They announced that?
Yeah, they announced that like all of 6 years ago. It was a long time ago. When they had plans to make Shazam, when they kind of first were getting going with the DCEU, he was like, yeah, I'm going to be playing Black Adam. And he was supposed to get Black Adam was supposed to be his own movie.
Who's gonna come up in here talking about somebody selling feet pictures? That's nasty!
Yeah, I don't care. I'm not a feet guy. Like, I don't want a woman to have ugly feet, but I'm not a feet guy. Like, that's not my thing. I have some buddies that are into that, but that's not me. Like, I don't get turned on by feet. That's not.
I'm just saying. Don't, look, you came to the wrong place, Big Daddy Maurice, to be getting some feet pictures. All right. It's hard not to talk about Shazam without talking about spoilers, because one of the big things that I wanted to ask you about, we got to maybe ask about at the end of the stream, is the part at the end with the siblings and they all come, that was like the big thing. But that's but in the comic books,
it was all being vague, so you just would have to ask me in a certain way.
Like, I'm just saying, in the comic books, tell me this: in the comic books, he lives in a foster home, right? Just like that, right? He has like the other foster sibling kids. With is it this? How does that work?
Okay, I can tell you this.
Tell me that. You know what I'm thinking. You know what I'm thinking.
So, like, this Shazam movie is more so based off of the recent comics, because in the older comics, it's not so much always like he's living with said family, but, he will encounter others that, can be in a certain situation with him. Y'all try to be vague, Amanda. But
I know it's hard. It's hard without giving spoilers away. We should just say it. Can we just say that part? If y'all don't want to know, we have to, because that's like after.
Let me ask you this then: did you when you saw that, because your knowledge on the lore is not a lot, like, were you surprised or how did you feel?
I was surprised.
My reaction was like, oh,
So your reaction was, oh, they're doing the same. The movie, like you already said, the look of the movie. Now you're saying the plot. Things that they do in the story is this. It's same as the comics. They even following that.
It's very similar. Like, if you had those comics with you, you can see where they're going with it. Like, you're like, oh, like when they did the scene with the family.
If it's in the comics, we done saying it. He can split his powers with other people, right?
Well, here's the thing, like.
So he splits his powers with the kids, the foster kids. They now can become a Shazam, basically.
Well, I mean, it's in the comics, they're referred to as the Shazam family, but I mean, there's things that's complicated about it. It's not as like someone, when they see that, they'll be like, oh, so it just works this way. He can just do this. It's not really like all from him necessarily, because you have like the other elders that passed away, like how you saw the seats in the movie. Yeah. So it's coming from all of them.
Something like that. So it's not like he split his power. So Evan says very similar. I don't know, the Jeff Johns Shazam, in his opinion. I don't know the different Shazams.
It's pulling from beginning and recent lore. So it's like yes and no.
Do that when he does his powers like that? When they kind of get their own little powers from the Shazam thing and say Shazam,
right?
Do they also have to like be the pure heart and all that kind of stuff? Or
like you can't be like evil or have like impure thoughts if that's going to happen, because if that happens,
but this is what I didn't understand. This is the thing I was going to ask, because he was fighting one guy. With the eye, the bad guy? What's his name?
Dr. Savannah.
Dr. Savannah. He was fighting him, and the thing was, Dr. Savannah wanted that power, right? And he was like, "Put your hand on the stick, say Shazam." Would that have even worked?
Well, here's the thing. Based upon the lore, it wouldn't have worked in the way that he thought it would. Like, he can get some of it, but in order to to have the full powers of, Shazam, you have to be pure of heart. So you're not going to get the whole thing. Like, that's why there's a difference between, Black Adam and Captain Marvel, because the way that they are as people. So even like Black Adam wanted, Shazam's powers, and it's just like, it doesn't quite work like that. You're not going to get the full thing. Just like, pulling from another DC character, Dr. Fate, for example. Like, the helmet of Nabu is actually like a full-blown universal god. So it's not so much that the person that gets to wear it has the powers of a god as much as it is that this god is allowing you to do stuff for him, you know, because you're the chosen one. So it's kind of like in that same vein. Like, you have to be a specific person. And it's like a once in a lifetime kind of scenario. So where a lot of people are just like, they make the mistake of like, oh, well, it's just the right place, right time. I'm like, that makes no sense. Because what if the bad guy is in the right place at the right time? Does that mean that he or she gets it? You know, that doesn't make sense. It has to be a specific person. That's what it didn't make sense
for me. That's what didn't make sense. I was like, wait, that part didn't make sense for me. That was probably the only part, one of the big parts I was confused about. Because remember, I was like, I got some questions. Evans did say, don't get him wrong, it was fun. I enjoyed it more than Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's for sure. And that's one thing I love about it. Y'all know that's why I love Spider-Man. It's just fun, and he jokes, and it's lighthearted, and he's just making jokes while fighting, and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's why I always gravitated towards Spider-Man. And I got that same feel with Shazam. It was just fun. I mean, he's a kid. So he's making jokes and just...
In terms of Spider-Man, like he was...
You're right.
Like, I'm cool with him, but he was never one of my favorites. Like, the only reason why I would read, like, Spider-Man comics when I was a kid is because of his villains. Like, I thought his villains were cool. Like, I actually liked his villains.
That's why you like DC, because you like the darkness. But I like the lightheartedness.
It's not so much that it has to be dark. I just like really good writing. And usually, when you have more serious content, you get more of the serious kind of writers that provoke thought instead of you getting just something.
I like funny stuff too. That's why I like funny, silly stuff, and that even takes good writing. So that's why I like Spider-Man. To make
well, I mean, it's not so much that it can't be good writing, but it's just like, I know, like, when it comes to like comic books, I can go to DC. And I'm going to get that really, really good writing. And I'm going to get those really, really good villains. Like with Marvel,
seriousness and
it's more of like, it's fun.
You like seriousness and darkness better too. That's probably why you gravitate towards the DC also.
I mean, I like to laugh, but not in terms of sacrificing when something is supposed to be serious. Like when I'm watching an MCU film, if you're interjecting humor just to be silly and you're taking away from a serious moment, then it tends to irritate me because I'm like, that's not supposed to be there.
That's one problem when I had with Aquaman though too. Like there's parts when like when he's just silly and didn't have to be, and I was just like, that wasn't even funny.
Well, I mean, in the case of Aquaman, like when he was being silly in those situations, like, those situations weren't serious. Like when he was like talking to his brother or dealing with Black Manta or his mom, those were the serious moments.
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything silly in those moments. It had to be one of those offset moments, which is fine to me. I just don't like what it doesn't need to be.
Evan said, Craven last, is that how you say it? Craven, last hunt. Enough said. I didn't get it. What does that mean?
Well, yeah, you know, like Craven the Hunter is a very cool Spider-Man villain, and he ends up hunting
Craven the Hunter! Yeah.
You know, he ends up hunting Spider-Man because he feels like he's a good challenge. And I remember at one point in the comics when he actually beat up Spider-Man and some other individuals that he hunted down, he actually like tried to kill himself because there was no reason for him to be alive because he had already achieved his full physical potential. Like the people that he wanted to fight, he fought them already, in most cases defeated them. So that was like his reason for existing. Like he had a love interest, but like she was not as important as him training and fighting people. So that's why like when I hear stuff like behind every strong man is a woman, I'm just like, I hate that saying because that doesn't apply to everyone. I'm like, you don't need to have a woman there. Like in Craven the Hunter's case, that's a clear example of a woman being there, but she couldn't do anything to distract him from what he wanted to do. It doesn't work like that all the time. But I get why that's the saying, but I'm just like,
like Evan said, the movie Shazam was just all right. I want to know why and how you would rate it, Evans. I want to know your rating, but I want to know yours too. I want to know yours too, Terrance. So, like, how do you rate it?
I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Like I told you, I really liked it.
I gave easily like, cause with me when it comes to comic book material, like if I know the comic book material that I'm watching, like I always give it 2 ratings. I give it like the movie rating
Okay.
and like the rating of a comic book movie. So I'm just like, as a movie itself, I was like, all right, yeah, 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Then as a comic book movie, I was like, this is 10 out of 10.
Really?
Like, easily. Like, I'm like, when I read something and I see a translation and you've adapted it and it reminds me of what I read in the right ways, and then I can see what you're going to do with the sequels, especially with that mid-credit scene, I'm just like, you did what you were supposed to do. Like, that's important. I can't stand when they just like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make this film so everybody can like it. You have just failed by saying something like that because there's no way that's going to work. Like, why would you try to appease someone that doesn't know or doesn't care about the content to begin with? Why? You're just going to mess it up.
Harry said, which DC character do you think who hasn't been on the big screen yet that will have to be their own movie? Oh, like what other DC?
Countless. Who was that? Perry?
Yeah, with Perry.
Perry, that is countless DC characters. You know how many awesome DC characters that haven't had their own movie?
So what?
Like,
it should be. What would you say out of all of them would be your top one that needs one?
A top one? That's a hard question. Well, currently, yeah, I don't know. I can't just pick just one though, because I mean, I'm like, we need to have a really good Flash movie. That needs to be a thing. I'm like, we need Martian
Manhunter
on the big screen.
They put him into the, Justice League and all, but when I saw Justice League, he was like one of stood out for me, and I was like, oh, I really would like to see a Flash movie. So I'm with you on that one.
But I mean, like, it has to be great because the TV show has done so much that you have to make it great. It can't just be okay.
True.
But we also need to see Martian Manhunter, who's a core member of the Justice League. We need a really good Green Lantern movie. Like, if Jeff Johns can get on that, because he said he was working on it, like, he's a big wig at DC Comics. Not at Warner Brothers, DC Comics. There's a difference. And, like, if they can make a really good Green Lantern movie, I think it would completely crap on 99% of the comic book movies that I have ever seen. Like, if you can do Green Lantern right, like, the average person is going to be like, I need to go and buy me some Green Lantern comics right now. Like, because Green Lantern is too dope for us to get that abomination that we got with Ryan Reynolds.
I think your number one would be some Green Lantern.
He's one of the ones I want to see, but my number one is always Batman. So, like,
he's had his number movie. He's had his movies. Hey, Dance Park.
Yeah, but
Harry said he wants to see Blue Beetle movie.
I wouldn't mind seeing him, but like, I feel like that's more of like, you should wait to do his, because it's like, when it comes to like even with Batman, I'm like, the new idea for him intrigues me because I'm like, we haven't seen that yet. I'm like, there's still so much of Batman that I haven't seen on the big screen. So like, the average person are like, we've already seen that. I'm like, no, you haven't. They haven't done it yet. Whenever we see Batman, what is he doing? He's normally it's just an action movie. Like, there's so much more to Batman than just beating people up. I'm like, where is the detective aspect? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you think about detectives in real life,
speaking about
like,
that,
Bruce Wayne would be the best detective. Where's all the science elements?
Speaking of Batman, I know you probably saw that trailer for the Alfred movie, the Pennyworth.
I did.
And what did you think about that?
Well, I'll answer that in 2 ways. First, before they said that they were going to do it, they're like, okay, well, we have this idea. And I said to myself, why? The reason why I said to myself, why, is because, to me, there's other important characters that you should do before you do stuff like that, but that's just an opinion thing. But then I said to myself, okay, I want to see a trailer, because I'm going to watch it regardless.
Yeah.
That's what I do. But I want to be excited about it. So when I watched the trailer for Alfred, I was like, it looks all right. Like, it's one of those things where I could see it either going really wrong or really good. Like, I don't see any middle ground
for that. The trailer didn't give me much. But I think after watching Gotham and getting to know Alfred even better and his history and stuff, that it got me more excited for that movie.
Well, I mean, in terms of the Pennyworth show, like, unfortunately, what I saw in Gotham is not going to be the same. What they do with the Alfred in that show, it's going to be completely different.
But it just made me more interested in Alfred as far as his past, I think. So I was excited to see that.
I've always been interested in his past, but to do a show or movie, you have to do something really specific. Otherwise, it will come off.
I don't think you have high expectations for this.
Well, generally speaking, when it comes to comic book material, most of the time I don't. Like, I'm more of the, like, let's wait and see. Like, I want to see certain things, and I like to see how it turns out. So my mind is always open, like, all right, yeah, like, because with me, I'm going to watch no matter what.
Yeah.
To where so many others are like, I'll wait or I'll skip over. With me, it's not, you're never going to hear I'm going to skip over. It's just more of like, am I excited going in, or will my excitement come after I start watching it? That would be the big difference.
Harry said you can play a perfect Blue Beetle, Brother Terrance.
I really appreciate that. That is a huge compliment, especially since I know Blue Beetle.
Uh-huh.
But I have to say this, though. Blue Beetle is Hispanic, right? So if Warner Brothers came to me and they said, Terrance, we want you to play
you would say no?
Blue Beetle, I would turn it down because I'm black.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I would be slapping my own face by doing something that would be inaccurate that I know would disrespect the fans because I'm one of them.
Gotcha.
So there's no way I would accept that role.
That's how hardcore and dedicated Terrance is. If they come to him and be like, we're going to give you millions of dollars, play Blue Beetle, you would turn that
down. Yes, Amanda, I'll tell you why. Because aside from what I just said, I'm not a person that cares about money. You can't sway me with money, but you can sway me if you do something that appeals to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, I need money on this planet, especially because humans care about money, most of them anyway. I just, like, I don't care. They could be like, Terrance, we're going to give you $80 million to play Blue Beetle. It'll be a big theatrical release, and everybody will love you. I'm like, first of all, because it's a DC film, I feel like I would have to work overtime for individuals to have faith in me because there will be automatic bashing. And secondly, I'm not the right ethnicity. Like, I believe that when the characters are Hispanic or black or Asian, that you cast accordingly, because more often than not, those characters don't really see the light of day. They're usually in the background. So I'm like, this is an opportunity for your Hispanic audience to go, hey, there's one of us on the screen, not, why is that black guy playing a Hispanic character?
Yeah,
you think I want to be part of that?
I hear you. I hear you. But Evan said if you play Blue Beetle, he's going to play Booster Gold.
Hey, Booster Gold is really cool. Like, the last time I saw him in live action was on Smallville, and they did him really well. It was just, like, crazy. Because I remember, was I at school? I think I was still at school. No, wait. No, I probably graduated by then. But there still was a website for Smallville where they would talk about, hey, which hero you want to see next, or which villain should we do? And then, people are like, man, you guys have already done like 15 different heroes, and this is the first time that we're seeing a shared universe. We're like, hell, do everybody. And they're like, what about Blue Beetle and Booster Gold? We're like, oh, that'll be great. I'm like, those characters are so cool, and people don't really know them, so that'd be cool for them to see them. So, like, hey, man, if they do a Booster Gold movie, if people like stuff like Shazam, then, like, he's a very funny character, too. But Booster Gold is an asshole, though. Like, I need to be he's like the kind of person where you're like, the girls be coming up to him like, hey, Booster Gold, can we get a picture with you? I don't know if you're worth my time, but I suppose I have time to take one picture. Oh, hello there, young lady. Amanda, how you doing? And then you say hi to him, Amanda, and he's like, yeah, that's right. You better say hi to me. I'm Booster Gold. Like, he like that type of dude, Amanda. You want to punch him in the face.
Like that? He's full of himself like that?
Yes, Amanda. Like, when you think of, like, there are arrogant characters in different comic books, but when someone says, like, we're going to do a movie or a show about an arrogant superhero, like, Booster Gold has to be in the top.
He'll be number one.
Yeah, like, I'm just like, I'm going to think of him, like, first amongst, like, maybe 9 other characters. I'm like, he's an asshole. So, you know, the average person watching that movie, their takeaway is going to be, you know, whether they like the movie or not, they're like, man, that character is, if he dies, I don't think I'm going to cry about it because he's just such a mean person. But bear in mind, Amanda, to be fair, he does become cool later, but the Justice League have problems with him because he's arrogant, he's mean, he often jeopardizes the missions and stuff. Like, he's just an asshole.
Right.
People think Tony Stark is an asshole.
Right there, you tell me, like, Justice League, you need to be a team player. He ain't no team player.
No, he's not, but, like, he eventually does become one when he chills out. You know, like, people think that Tony Stark is an asshole. I'm just like, Booster Gold is, like, 10 times worse. At least Tony. Like, Tony's part of the Avengers. Like, Booster Gold does become part of the Justice League, but it's, like, a real struggle to get him to be nice, Amanda. Like, if you invite Booster Gold over for dinner, Amanda, he's going to be that one person that makes everybody want to leave, Amanda. That's what kind of person he is.
Well, Evans saying, now you're saying you want to play Booster Gold after I hear all this, Evans? Do you think you're the person to play Booster Gold? I'm going to have to double think on Evans over here. I'm going to have to double think on Evans.
Hey, Evans, if you think you could do it, man, like, go ahead and try it out. I mean, I'll judge it when I see it, but you're going to have to really, like, you know, in the way that Robert Downey Jr. brought it for Tony Stark, like, whoever plays Booster Gold, like, they just have to fit that perfectly. Like, you just, I'm telling you, Amanda, you're going to be clenching your fists like, oh, I want to punch him. So, whatever bad guy shows up, I hope he dies. That's how you need to feel, Amanda. Like, you got to hate that dude. Like,
all right. I kept this on the screen for a long time because I was like, I can't lose this comment because I wanted Evan's opinion on Shazam. And I'm shocked. Evans, I'm shocked. He said pros. Yeah, Zachary Levi was a pro. The plot, the Dr. Sabayas or whatever his name is, right?
I'm not surprised.
The cons, he's saying, though, the score, like the music. I never really listen to music that much in this stuff, though. Like,
okay, first of all, like, okay, the music is important and it has to fit the character. To me, the music fit the character. I'm like, what? But hey, Evans,
CGI, he said, like, especially the CGI.
Evans, you can have your opinion. Like, you should never let anyone change your mind on your viewpoints. But respectfully, I disagree. I thought Shazam was spot on. But hey, if you have some problems with it, that's on you. You feel how you want.
He's still saying the CGI. I mean, I could see some of that, but that's what I said.
But that's every movie though. Yeah, like, I mean, every movie has a lot of spotty CGI.
The many
with the
jokes.
Exception, like, Avatar was amazing.
Evans, that's what I liked about it. All the jokes, in his opinion, he didn't like all the jokes. That's what I liked about it, especially because he's a kid. He's gonna have that kid mentality. My 13-year-old was sitting right there, and he was like cracking up at it, and I'm like, it's fine.
Exactly. Do you see how you said that a minute? Your children were loving it. I'm like, because the character is a child, and guess what? Children can relate to other children. Yeah. That's the whole point.
And which made me, that's what I thought was spot on about it as far as the character. I mean, just proof right there that they were cracking up. But you're going to give it that low. A 6.5 or 7 out of 10. It was not that low.
That's I don't know, Evans, man. That's, to me, I'm like, man, that's disrespectful to Shazam, but that's all right, though. Hey, you feel how you want to feel.
I disagree. I disagree. You're wrong.
What other questions did you have about Shazam? Because, like, I definitely want you to ask, and I'll do my best to answer.
The big parts we went over was the villain guy and the deadly sins and all that stuff that we talked about, and then the other one was the spoiler part that we couldn't say anything, but I want to know about.
We did kind of go into it, though.
Yeah, we did, like, right, how they split with the other siblings and everything. And even, what I really wanted to know is how it related, like, with the comics, which you touched on, you like, it followed it. As far as the splitting, though, I did have another question with the siblings. You know, the foster kids that would also have the powers, right? Did the comic books, did it follow the same, like, as far as the foster parents, did it follow as the comics like it did in the movie? The characters the same? Are the same characters?
To that I'll say, more or less, cause like with the current ones with the kids and stuff, like it's more closer to them, but there are other kids to where it's like, it's them, but then there are some things that are different. So it's like, it's really like a yes and no, because depending on which Shazam fan you talk to and which comic books they read, then they would be right about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you would get, say, 6 different people, Amanda, that talk to you about Shazam. You can get each one of them telling you something different, and they would all be right for different reasons, because that's what they read, you know? So.
But it did. Did it have that many?
In the older ones, there was actually a few more than what you saw in the movie.
Okay.
In the current ones, like pretty much the same number, because it's supposed to be 7 of them total, but I think in the movie it was like 6 or something like that. But so it's more or less either one more kid or a few more kids, depending on which Shazam comic books you read. So, but in terms of that accuracy, like if you discount, like, oh, there was supposed to be one more or 2 more people, the whole entire concept of it is spot on. You know, the whole number issue can be argued, but that has also changed. It's kind of like in the same vein, like for Marvel with the X-Men. There's like, but to be fair, in the case of X-Men, their storylines are all over the place, but just in the sense that you can get away with doing certain things because there are different comic books to where that applies to. So it's just a matter of what you want and then how much you know, really, what it comes down to in this particular instance.
Now that's what we talked about it before, you know, him fitting in the DC universe. Like, you really think that's, I mean, well, they show the cameos and stuff, but do you want to see that? This is what I'm saying. Do you want to see that? Do you want to see, or do you want to see more of just his own thing?
Well, I'll tell you this, Amanda. Eventually I do want to see a Justice League where you do have Shazam and Martian Manhunter and Hawkman and like so many other people once it builds upon hundreds of heroes. But for the case of Shazam, I do want to see him fight Black Adam, because if people thought, who am I thinking of? Doctor Strange and Thanos doing their stuff was interesting. You have 2 magical beings that are more or less very close to gods. In the case of Black Adam, the Egyptian gods. In the case of Shazam, more so the Greek gods, the elders. Like, when you have those 2 fighting, you can really get a mix, like a very type of mixture kind of fight where you have magic going on. You know, they're breaking the sound barrier. They could be going in space. Yeah. Like, you can get this all around spectacle.
I get it.
To where, you know, people that want to see those fights, Amanda, they can get that with Shazam and Black Adam in a way that the average person, they're not going to see it coming. So Black Adam will be new to them, and I'm like, whoa, hey, that's Dwayne Johnson. And then they see all this stuff, and they may end up liking Black Adam more than Shazam. Like, it can happen.
That's what look what Evan said. He said, that's why I love to talk to y'all. Different opinions and we compare it. True.
Oh yeah, Evans, you know, I appreciate you. Like I said, like, you know, when it comes to anything, like especially comic book material, because there's so much of it, and, you know, it's impossible to know everything because there's just too much. But when it comes to comic book stuff, it's always interesting when someone goes, I wish they did this costume, or I wish it was this villain, or this storyline. You know, you can really spark a wholesome conversation. And then you get the whole, well, that was wrong and this is right, but you can end up with a situation to where you're both right and wrong for different reasons. And that's what it's about. Like, that's why, you know, I like talking to Amanda and she likes talking to me, because it's like, you know, what did you like, or how did it
It is. It's always fun. When you deal with it. It's fun to talk and compare stuff with other fans that are out there, and my thing too, because like a lot of this stuff, I know y'all done read the comics and all that stuff. I'm picky with what I read, and it's been a long time, and then I get all this stuff, so then I can talk to y'all too, and get that comic book knowledge behind it on a lot of this stuff too, you know. Right. And then Perry said,
but I can tell you though, Amanda, though, because I guess I can say your ultimate exposure to Shazam would be that film.
Yeah.
Like, that film in itself, like, cause a lot of times with comic book films, it's like you get comic book fans and they're like, they didn't really do that character justice. Like, they really messed it up. But I can tell you, honestly, me being a fan of Shazam, I'm like, that's a good movie for that character. Okay. Especially for the first one. I'm like, Shazam is a character where his trials and tribulations get harder. Like, Black Adam's not even there yet.
Yeah.
And he was getting beat up by Dr. Savannah.
Because he's like, even by the end, he was starting to get confidence and stuff, but I'm like, he's really still got to develop his powers, you know? So
wait to see. I'm a Diamond in that theater, like, cause he has a crush on, Wonder Woman.
Uh-huh.
Really? Yeah. Like, I cannot. Like, and it's honestly, his main one is Wonder Woman, but like the other members of the Justice League, like Hawk Girl and the other different women, like he likes them too, because they're all attractive. I mean, that's how they're built.
And he's a young, like hormonal teenager.
Like, but see, here's the thing though, like some of the League members at first they didn't know that, you know, this was a kid.
Oh, they did.
Over time, he does, you know, become a man, because remember when you have like when you're not in the Shazam form, you're still aging. But if you stay in that form, you're going to look that way, but say you stop it, like you're going to be whatever age you are, but that power will prevent that from really escalating and prevent you from dying.
So you said who would train him? Like Wonder Woman you said would train him, and who else?
Superman would train him. Like those are really the top two.
Yeah, okay. Because I would like even say with Wonder Woman, but I'd like to see him with like the other serious like one. Like I would like to see him with Aquaman, or even like you said, Superman.
Amanda, I'm telling you right now, like I think it will be one of the most precious moments when we see how Batman reacts to Shazam.
Yes,
like, Shazam be annoying the crap out of him, Amanda. Like, because he can't stand. Like, because I remember at one point he didn't know he was a kid, and then when he was like Shazam one day, they were all having a party, and then when he saw that he was shorter and stuff, Batman, Amanda, you know Batman, he was like this, Amanda. That's explained. You're so silly. Like it just was gold, Amanda. Like
that's what
I'm
saying.
Was just like I cannot. I'm done.
Even with Aquaman, that's why I said even with Aquaman, I could see him getting on Aquaman's nerves too, and Aquaman be saying stuff. You know?
See, Amanda, you're on point. You didn't even know it. Like I'm telling you, like his interaction, like even like when they get to Justice League, whenever they do it, they don't have to do it right now, but when they do, Shazam's interactions alone, I think people will like before they even get to the fighting. Yeah. Like it'll just be priceless.
Yeah, no, I agree because. And I'm glad that's what we were talking about this today, because I didn't appreciate it. Like, that's what I said. After we saw the cameo stuff, I was just like, I can't see him in there. But after talking today, now, everything, it's just in my mind, just this interaction with this and that. And I'm like, it's getting me excited. It's getting me excited.
Amanda, you're going to, when he starts interacting, you'll love it. Like, I think the one I can say that he gets along with the most is either, it would have to be between Wally West or Barry Allen, depending on which Justice League interpretation. Like, definitely the Flash. And then Wonder Woman, like, at first she was kind of, like, irritated, but then, like, she grows to really, like, love him. Like, not, like, in a sexual way, but, like, in a sense, like, you know, like, I really care about you kind of way. And she'll go out of her way to try to look after him in the way that the rest don't. I mean, they will by default because he's a League member, or he will become one. It's like it's really Flash, Superman, and Wonder Woman that look after him the most.
Okay. Oh, see what? And now Kamal Ali. He said we talked about. He asked how we liked the Joker trailer. Gave me. He said, "Did you like it? Did you like his performance?" The Joker trailer gave me the stellar Dark Knight trilogy vibes. Wish he was part of the current DC universe. And that's what I'm saying. Well, we talked about.
Man, Kamal, look.
We talked about how much we love the trailer already.
Right?
100% love that trailer. But that got me thinking too. I'm like, could he be in this DC universe too? Like it.
No.
I know he won't. I know he won't. But I could see it.
Like I can see it too, but it's an Elseworld story.
Yeah.
Like it's actually based on Batman: The Killing Joke. Like it's not entirely, but that's where the inspiration comes from. Where the Joker is a stand-up comedian and he has a girl. He has a pregnant girlfriend.
Really?
Or at that point, I think she might have been his wife. But anyway.
Now, wait, like, and that, did they have that weirdness with the mama in that?
Well.
Because that weirdness with the mama did remind me of like the Penguin and his mom.
Well, but when you say weirdness, like, how do you mean? Because I need to understand.
Just the weirdness, like you know what Penguin in Gotham and his mom. How they kind of played that, and they just had that weird relationship and stuff. I mean, he giving his mom a bath, and that reminded me of the part when, remember, in Gotham, and the mom's giving Penguin a bath and stuff, and you're like, that mama made him kind of crazy too. So I felt like
okay. Now that you said that, I can honestly see what you mean, but in the case of that storyline in the comics, The Killing Joke,
yeah.
Like his relationship with that girl, you know, he just cared for her in a way that he didn't have anyone else because, you know, humans were cruel to him. Like he would go do his, you know, his comedy stand-ups. He would get booed off a stage. People were throwing oranges and bricks at him.
Oh
Amanda,
my gosh!
And he would go home. And he would go home to his girl, and they would maybe have all of $20, Amanda, for like that whole week. And he would just be crying, and he's like, "I have to like try to earn more money for you and the baby." And she was just like the most understanding woman in the world.
Really,
Amanda? She was like, "You know what? It's fine. You don't have to do anything extra for me and the baby. We will be okay because we have each other." And as I was reading that, I'm just like,
well, then
I had to read it twice, Amanda. I was like, wait a minute.
But I want to read that now, too, because now it's got me like he's got this supportive girlfriend and all like that. What makes him still go crazy then?
Oh, see, what happens, he ends up hooking up with these gang members that are associated with the Red Hood.
Okay.
And they tell him, like, we want you to do this. And they're like, we know about your girl and she's pregnant. And you do this one job, and you can have enough money to where you don't have to be on stage and have humans mistreat you. When you walk down the street, humans can respect you. And it turned out that because they were in such a bad apartment, Amanda, like his girl, she got killed by one of the household appliances.
Like electrocuted?
That malfunctioned. And
did she get killed when she was pregnant? Both the baby and her die?
Yeah, she got snapped up, Amanda. And while that happened, Joker was, you know, at that factory, and then Batman showed up, and he got knocked into the chemicals. And, you know, he just, like, all this kind of stuff kind of happened back to back.
Yeah.
And then that storyline, he was just telling Batman, he was like, all it takes is one bad day, and everyone will go crazy. And Batman was trying to tell him, like, I don't know if it works like that because you're just insane. There was something wrong with you before. And then you see that whole thing where, you know, he kidnapped Commissioner Gordon and he shot and paralyzed Batgirl. And, you know,
that reminds me, like, when you just said that, you remember that movie with Michael Douglas? What was it, like Traffic or something?
Right.
Remember that? That's what you reminded me of. Like just that whole day, just stuff happened. And I felt the same way when I was watching the trailer. Just, he was getting beat up in the subways. He was getting beat up in alleys and stuff. I was like, this shows just him just cracking, just tired of it.
But now the funny thing, the only funny thing about that storyline, because there was really only one funny thing, was, you know, when he's trying to explain to Batman about why he was doing what he was doing, you know, there's something that happens in the end that, you know, I can't really ever say that I've seen Batman like that. Like, I don't want to spoil that ending, but, like, it was one of those, like, man, I don't think I'm ever going to read Batman being this way again. Like, it was one of those moments. And I'm like, man, if they were to do this, like, in the movies, like, people would just be like, well, damn. It's one of those moments where because they've seen Batman so much, like they think they've seen it all. But like, if you do something like that, Amanda, I feel like, you know, people gonna cry. It'd be like,
now I want to know. Now I want to know.
So it's like it would make you cry, but then you would laugh too. Like you would have a mixture of emotions. But you know, that's not the definitive origin of Joker because he doesn't have a definitive one. It was just like a one-off story, you know. Mm-hmm. So just like in the way of this Joker movie, it's just a one-off story. But I can tell where the inspiration comes from. And it looks like, you remember in the trailer how you saw him in, I want to say a restaurant, and he was with Zazie Beetz' character, the one that played Domino in Deadpool 2. And she was laughing. Uh-huh. And then you see he was trying to laugh, and then immediately after that you see him go to the Arkham State Hospital. Yeah. Like, I don't know if she's supposed to be his, like, actual love interest. But if that's the case, or she could be a friend, but I feel like she's probably going to be the only other one, aside from his mother, that will keep him from snapping. Okay. So she's probably going to die. The mother is probably going to die. Now, how they die, I don't know. Like, they both might get killed or something. Mm-hmm. But you have all that in combination with humans just beating them up for no reason. Yeah. Like, so, I'm going to say it like this, Amanda. Instead of him falling in the chemicals that help with this transformation, this is a very sad turn of events because instead of the chemicals, it's actually society that act as the toxic chemicals that change him. Mm-hmm. So when I realized that when watching the trailer, like it was just a sense of sadness that washed over me because I'm like, that is very deep and messed up, and it's very grounded in reality because I can tell you from experience, like I was bullied for years. Mm-hmm. Like I was hit and punched and slammed against the lockers and the walls, and humans were laughing at me. Humans didn't help me. I mean, it was just all kinds of stuff. And also, they sent me to a mental institution because they thought I was the problem when it was really the humans around me. So I'm like there's a certain kind of investment that I have in this movie to where my perspective is like, when this kind of stuff happens to you, you could possibly go that way. Mm-hmm. And some will. And like, I felt bad for them because I'm like, that sucks. You know, and then if you don't really have too many people that can make you smile, like you remember how you was saying in the trailer, my mom told me I should smile. Mm-hmm. How are you supposed to smile and laugh when you have so much negativity in your life? Like, how do you do that and make it genuine? I get it. Amen.
And I got it when I watched the trailer. And that's why after that trailer, I was just like, this is greatness. Because I felt it all. That trailer made me feel all of that. You know, it did. Mm-hmm. It was, as you said, that trailer right there can get an award on itself. Because that trailer was just like, you know, I felt it.
And I feel you, Amanda, because I'm like, I know they don't do awards for trailers, but that would have to win it. Because I'm like, how do you do that? Like, your editor was on point to get individuals to understand that this story is coming. Like, you're going to feel this. Because some people were shocked because they were like, wait a minute, you guys just did the Aquaman and Shazam, and then now this? Yeah. And I'm just like, well, that's just DC for you. Mm-hmm. They like to do these risk-taking projects to see if they're going to work, you know? And people, they get confused by that. I'm like, man, DC has been doing that forever. They always do these different things. I mean, like, if you compare, like, Shazam to Doom Patrol, and then you compare Doom Patrol to Wonder Woman, it's like they're all different in their own way.
I gotta catch up on.
Have to like flavor.
I gotta catch up on some Doom Patrol. I'm behind on that. That's one of my things I'm gonna be watching this weekend. I'm gonna be catching up, but I gotta tell you now, Terrance, because I gotta be going soon. But when does Gotham, the next Gotham, come out?
Okay, let's see.
April. It's not next week. It's the week after.
I think so.
Right?
I want to say yes, but you can check.
Okay. Did you say the 17th maybe? No, wait, the 18th maybe?
I think it might be the 16th. No, I could be off. But,
okay.
Because I gotta save on my calendar.
Next Friday, I'll be out of town again.
Okay.
You know me. I'm always jetting something or something, And
I see. So this is just one of those times where you betray me again. I understand, Amanda. I understand.
No, listen. I'm going to Chicago, and I'm going to Chicago. If y'all know what's in Chicago next week, there's a big convention. Do you know what it is?
Which one is it, Amanda? Which one?
I'm going to cover it for all weekend. Do I have any Star Wars fans up in the house?
Yes.
Because it's the big Star Wars celebration. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Shh. This is
betrayal. Betrayal. That's betrayal.
So I won't be here next Friday, but that'll work out good because then the next Friday Gotham would have.
This is why people go insane, man.
This is why people go insane. You act like I could just invite friends to these things. I just get invited. They don't say no +1. They don't say you can bring a friend. They don't say you and a friend. No. They just say you.
Amanda, you know what you did. But think about what you just said. You said, you know what, Terrance? We're not going to do this next week because I'd rather go to Star Wars.
You're saying I should have turned that down. I'm like, I can't do that. I got a live with Terrance.
No, because if you turn it down, that would be a different betrayal. But then you.
But y'all, don't say nothing because I'm not we were going to announce it because Tess is going. Some other people, we were going to announce it like on the Geekly show thing that we do on Tuesday. But I had to tell you, Terrance, because I was like, I'm not going to be here Friday. So don't say nothing. Shh. Don't y'all, Perry, don't say nothing. Act surprised. Act surprised, okay?
Man, this is betrayal. I don't
believe it. It's going to be fun now. I'm going to be covering all. I'm going to be covering all. The new, I'll put on my YouTube. I'll be doing video when they're going to be dropping that new trailer probably there. You know that's going to probably happen.
The Star Wars one, right?
Yes, the one for coming out in December. The next of the episode. You know that trailer is going to be dropped while we're there, probably.
I got you.
And they're going to have the panels, and so we're going to be covering all that. But shh, act surprised. Act surprised. We're not be like, what? Okay? Y'all don't know this. I'm just telling this little circle of trust right here. Circle of trust.
All right.
Muppets. Shh.
Wait. What did you think about Freddy? Because I thought he was great. Like Shazam's best buddy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like he was making me mad. He was making me mad for like a minute, but I mean, it was great. Like, that's what I said. That's what a kid would do, right? They played it for her. That's what a kid would do.
Amanda, do you know how bad, look, Amanda, like the whole movie was on point, but this is the scene that made me get those happy tears. Now, this happened a few times, but when Shazam was, performing his powers for money.
Yeah.
And he was doing the lightning bolts, and it turned out that he messed up the bolts, he messed up the bus, and that came off, and then he caught it, and then when he was talking to Freddy, and Freddy broke it down to him, he's like, you're selfish, like, what did I tell you about what it takes to be a hero? You're not doing any of that. Yeah. You're charging these people money so you can show them your powers. Yeah. He's like, what kind of hero does that? And it's like, I was like, man, this is so on point. Like, I could barely handle this. Like, this is awesome. And I love it. Like, I don't care if it's DC or Marvel. Like, when they do with the characters right, Amanda, I love it.
But it made you think just that why we fell in love with these comics too. Like, just watching that, what Freddie said, I fell in love with the comics, these movies when I was a kid because of those very reasons, right? So it brought you back. Brought you back to your origin, the kid in you when you first fell in love with this. That's what this movie did for me, and Freddie was on point with that.
I agree, Amanda.
Freddie
completely.
Was on point.
And you have to think of it in the situation of like, how would you deal with the idea that you've just been bestowed with powers? Especially as a kid, Amanda. I tell you. I think I told you before, but if I didn't, I'll tell you now. Like one of my favorite Marvel characters of all time is the Hulk. You know.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, so it was him and Wolverine were like some of my top Marvel characters, and it was like in the case of the Hulk and even Wolverine, like I knew what it was like, unfortunately, to walk around being angry all the time. And it was painful, and I couldn't turn into a big green monster to solve my problems, Amanda. I couldn't do that. But when I would read about them, I'm like, man, like I wish I had this kind of stuff. You know, I wish I could just take a serum like Captain America and get stronger to beat up the bullies and to beat up humans that are making other humans suffer because they think it's funny, you know? Like,
look, Terrance, you're making me cry. You're making me tear up.
I'm sorry, man, but
no, it's true though.
Also, just that Freddy situation too. Like,
it's true. That's what I'm just saying. Like, and I could see it. Like, you fell in love with the Hulk because of that, but it's because there was the kid in you that wanted like that outlet and needed that outlet. So I feel it. I feel it.
And also, like with Superman, it was like, you know, I saw that he would go through all these horrible things, and he had this confidence about him, you know. And I was like, man, that's cool. Like despite him losing his whole race for the most part, and like humans like really being ungrateful with how much he helps them, I was like, this dude is still walking around, hands on his hips, perfect hair, with Superman cape, and he's just like, yep, everything will be okay. Hope. I'm just like,
and optimistic, man, always optimistic. Like, yeah.
And then when he would feel sad, Amanda, it made me sad because I'm like, man, like I remember as a kid, Amanda, it surprised me because when my cousins, they were giving me the comic books, like the first 20 or so issues, I was used to seeing Superman smile. But then when it got to the sad storylines, I was like, wow, this broke your heart. Character he's not perfect. Like he goes through stuff. And that just struck like my heart because I was like, man, like this super powerful dude, like he feels the same stuff that I feel, you know? And that could be dangerous because of how much power he has. I'm like, imagine if he just got really mad one day. Like he could destroy the whole planet.
Oh yeah. Don't be, which, I mean, we're going to get way off topic, like that Brightburn. I don't like that, right? But let's not go there because I gotta go. Thinking about that. I gotta go. So we can't even go there. But 2 weeks we're coming back, right? Gotham.
Right.
And
you know, Amanda, I just want you to know that you know I really appreciate and respect you and like you. So I hope you believe me when I say that.
I know it's sick because I feel it too. Me and you, right here always, Terrance, right here. And y'all too, like our people that come on and watch us and chat with us every week. Like I look forward to it. I look forward to just talking about this stuff with all y'all. You know, you're all my YouTube family, my family.
Amanda, how is it that you care about me, but then you betray me on a regular basis?
We're going! All right, y'all, we're going. Have a good weekend. Mwah! Love y'all. Bye.